These, my friends, are deseeded Concord grapes. So we're going to make a pie. When I was growing up, my mom and dad had tons of Concord grapes. And so grape pie was something we always had. And I've never seen it out and about. And when a friend gifted me these Concord grapes, I got so excited. But I was looking at my mom's cookbooks and I'm not finding any recipes. So we're going to go from memory. It's at least 20, 30 years since I have made a grape pie. So let's see how good this memory is. We're going to start with rolling out our pie crust. And if you haven't watched my video on how I make 15 pie crusts with one recipe, pop them in the freezer so I have them on hand, go find that video. This is a very soft pie dough, so it's really easy to work with, but you're going to need quite a bit of flour on top and a rolling pin. And what I like to do is once I get it started is I like to keep that pie crust moving so that it doesn't stick to the countertop. We're going to make a 9-inch deep dish pie. There we go. Get some more flour on there. And re-roll. I did find a grape pie recipe in my 1940s cookbook. However, it is a cooked filling that you put in an already baked pie crust. And I'm like, I know that's not how my mom did it. So we are just going to give this a go. I mean, how hard could it be? It's sugar, flour, and grapes and a pie crust. I think I'm going to use cornstarch just to make sure that it really thickens up because these are nice and juicy. So a word about Concord grapes. They are very seedy. And so if you have access to them and you find them, what you do is you kind of pinch them and slip the skins off. The skins go in one bowl and all of the insides, which looks like a little eyeball, it goes in a food mill. And then you grind it, the seeds stay in the mill and all of the pulp comes out. And now you put the pulp back in with the skins. I know it sounds like a lot of work. It is, but it's so worth it. Grape pie is amazing. So let's set that aside. I have to roll out another crust. So I'm just gonna leave that there. So that's what this is. This was what was gifted to me. The skins have been slipped off. The seeds have been removed and these were frozen. And so they are just ready to roll. This is making my life easy. So we're going to do, I was going to say we're going to do a cup of sugar, but let's taste them and see how sweet they are. Oh, I love that flavor. If you love grape juice from the store, like Welch's grape juice is made from Concord grapes. And that's what this flavor is. So they're pretty sweet. So I'm going to do like a heaping cup. So I would say like a cup and a third, put that in there. And since these are nice and juicy, let's do about 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. I probably should have mixed that with some liquid. And always to bring out the sweetness, we add a little salt. And let's give that a stir. I'm trying to remember the last time I had grape pie, and that memory is not coming to me. This is just going to be so good. So excited for this. All right. Pies are one of the easiest things to mix up, especially if you have the pie crust already in the freezer. All you have to do is your fruit, sugar, a little flour or cornstarch, and salt. And then I always like to top it with a little butter just for richness. Oh, that's full. This is definitely going to be one of those pies I'm going to set on a cookie sheet because it will bubble over and make a big mess in the bottom of your oven if you don't. So I have the oven at 350 degrees. I'm assuming this is going to take about an hour to bake. It's beautiful. So excited about that. Okay, let me find a spot for that. And let's roll out the second crust. We could do, if we wanted, a lattice top, or we could just do some slits. What am I feeling like today? Lattice takes a little longer, but it is awful pretty, isn't it? All right, let's roll out this top crust. I actually think what I want to do is get this on there. We'll create the edges. We put some slits in it. Then we'll do maybe an egg wash with some sugar. That would be beautiful. All right, let's pull this back over. So this is a 9-inch deep dish. That was an awful lot. I would assume that's about 4 cups of grapes. Get that right on there. And then you roll. I always like to, when I'm doing a double crust, get the edges together of the top and bottom, and I roll them under, and then I crimp them. That's how my grandma taught me. I always like a nice thick crust edge. It's kind of my favorite part. I love homemade pie crust. And you could cut some of this pie crust off if you needed to, if you have too much, which this is getting quite thick over here. So let's pull some of that off. Let's take a knife. I'm going to cut 3 slits in the top to let steam out. Oh, this is a juicy pie. I'm glad we did the 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. I think it's going to need it. Okay, we go grab some eggs and sugar. So just whisk up 1 egg. And using a pastry brush. If you don't have a pastry brush, you can dip like a paper towel in here to get it all in the little grooves. While I have a lot of kitchen gadgets, I have made do for many years without them. And so you can get real creative in figuring out how to do things without having to buy extra stuff if you need to. Okay, and I'm going to get this an egg wash makes it really glossy, which I just think that's such a pretty look. That all in little grooves. Okay. And you can use regular sugar, but I'm going to use turbinado sugar. It's just like, has a thicker, coarser grind to it. Make sure I get some all on the crust. All right, that's going in the oven. I'll see you when it's done. Okay, here it is. It's beautiful. So my recommendation would be to let it cool completely. However, I've got some family members who are dying to get into this. So let's cut into it. I love this pie crust recipe. Oh, we should not have cut into it this soon, but it's going to taste delicious. It ended up taking about 1 hour and 20 minutes for this to finish cooking. And you can always tell because it starts bubbling out of the little slits and out of the sides, and it's bubbling over. When you give it a little shake, it's firm. Oh yeah, this was a bad idea. Always let your pies cool completely. But honestly, I can't wait to taste it. That tastes like home. Mm. Okay, let's try again. I went ahead and let it cool completely. And now let's get a proper slice. There we go.